Makes the Millers merry again. We start in Division 3, Huddersfield 5th from top against Mansfield 7th from bottom. John Helm at Leeds Road.
The most difficult job in football is that of a player manager, and Mansfield's George Foster doesn't need reminding of that. He has pressures on and off the field, but recent form suggests he can lead Mansfield away from the 3rd Division relegation zone. On the field today, he's up against Craig Maskell, scorer of 31 goals last season. He's not been as productive this, but he has 10, and a few more can enhance Huddersfield's promotion claims. Well, that's going to be a corner, an ill-advised back pass. Mansfield's change has been the introduction in the back 5 of Kevin Gray in place of a winger, Ian Hathaway. O'Regan's cross. It'll only come out as far as Chris Hutchings, and here's a chance for Huddersfield straight away. Smith, what a good save from Andy Beasley. Mark Smith looked as though he was going to end our goal famine and get Huddersfield's first in the very first minute of the game. There was an element of fortune because the ball ricocheted when Hutchings hit it back in. But there was no offside, and Beasley did really well to save that shot. And away off the line. What a lively start. Well, the crowd on their toes, that's for sure. Turn back again to O'Regan. Another chance up there, Mitchell. Mansfield struggling to get the ball out at the moment. Another cross comes flying in. And here's a great chance if he can keep this one down. Wide of the upright from Robert Wilson. Well, Huddersfield had 3 chances there in the first couple of minutes of the game. The ball swung in. The keeper, Andy Beasley, couldn't hold on to it. It wasn't a convincing clearance either, but Wilson puts it wide with all those Mansfield men on the line. O'Connell chases, but was headed out first time. Foster on as far as Wilson, who nudges it out to his right to O'Regan, who marauds up that touchline. Andy Beasley has a very safe pair of hands. That's a pretty useful ball, and Kevin Kent is pursued by Mitchell. So there's the cross, and Lee Martin really having to stretch with 2 men coming in on him, but the young goalkeeper, who's recently signed a new contract, was equal to that. Kevin Kent might well have caught the young goalkeeper unawares. It was dropping over him. And that's another bit of a lunge from Foster this time. And Hutchings goes across to have words with the player manager. The referee goes across to have an even more important word. Foster is roundly booed. But Huddersfield have their free kick in the closing phases of the first half. Ian Bray will take it. Met by O'Connell. Here's a great chance for Maskell. And he spoons it over the top. And the referee immediately calls the trainers on, but Maskell and Beasley both okay, I think. Bray's cross, O'Connell's header, Maskell in a great bit of space, but he couldn't use it to advantage. So goals continue to elude Craig Maskell. Again, O'Regan, the flick from O'Connell. Wilson, is a great chance here for Robert Wilson. And Beasley stretches to his left. Makes the save, but in any case, the whistle had sounded. It wouldn't have counted. The ball is humped back for O'Connell to chase. Turning inside, Brendan O'Connell comes the other way. Bray. He delivers the cross. Maskell gets up there. It's falling for May. Andy May is out. It's a goal. Huddersfield have got their goal. Craig Maskell is the scorer. Andy May took a lot of the credit, though. Ian Bray delivers the cross. And Mansfield have been under pressure for so long. George Foster got it out, but Andy May seized his opportunity. Beasley could only palm it out, and Craig Maskell is on hand for his 11th of the season. It could be the winner. And O'Connell lays it off nicely to Hutchings. Ooh. And George Foster just kicked out there at O'Connell. And here we see it. Brendan O'Connell went in for the ball there, but he pushed Foster in the back, obviously. And the player manager ought to know better than that. He stamped on O'Connell. And in fact, he is sent off. He's not just booked, he's sent off for that. And the final whistle sounds. So a rather sad moment, really, just before that final whistle. It ends on a bit of a bitter note. Huddersfield, near the top, have picked up 3 precious points. Huddersfield 1, Mansfield 0.
I got sent off, I think, for the intent. I didn't actually connect with him. But I wouldn't condone that from my players, and I certainly won't condone it myself.
No excuses, then?
No excuses, and I will punish myself accordingly.
And full marks to George Foster for his honesty. 16 more goals after the break.
Army for size. The Territorial Army, 0800 555 555. We're ready and waiting to talk to you.
Welcome back to Hillsborough. Trevor Francis starts a game in a Sheffield Wednesday shirt for the first time against third-placed Arsenal. Commentator Martin Tyler.
Sheffield Wednesday starting their second year under Ron Atkinson and wondering when they're going to get some reward from their fluent football in recent matches. They've been good enough here to beat Liverpool and Aston Villa, and there's a promising start. Oh, it's an own goal by Bold. A sensational start. Steve Bold, rueful and regretting his first touch of the ball. Arsenal caught absolutely cold. Nigel Worthington headed it back, but it was Bold's own goal, and an emphatic one. Within seconds of the kickoff. Dalian Atkinson. Palmer, the Swedish right back, Roland Nilsson. Good turn by David Hurst, measured the shot to John Lukic, got right behind it. Here's Atkinson. Oh, and it's come for Francis! Oh, and Davis taking a chance. Hurst, will he reach it before Lukic? He has done! Is it going to be a goal, or is it going to be a foul? Well, judging by Sheffield Wednesday's reactions, they think the goal has been disallowed. But David Hurst's challenge, yes, the studs were showing. So it doesn't count. Davis got into trouble first of all, and then Adams scuffed the back pass. It was a lunge, really, that the referee, I think, was right to rule the goal out. Well, Steve Bold would love to put the record straight if the free kick comes his way. Oh, and it's against the post, brushed off Smith. The closest Arsenal have come. Alan Smith's header, and an excellent one too, but the bounce off the post beat Bold following in. Well, Turner was nowhere. Francis trying to give his side some time. And he's done that. Ron Atkinson, who started watching the match in the stands, but has seen enough to trouble him to come down to the bench now. Not quite sure it's a day for sunglasses. What Arsenal have shown under George Graham is a capacity for never giving up. And Merson kept on running, and then could have given a better chance to Smith, but wanted the goal for himself and couldn't get it. Persistent work by Merson. That was the angle that he had, and it favoured the goalkeeper. A little nudge across to Smith, and Arsenal might have been level. Well, after the way this game started, you wouldn't bet on the finish. We're now in stoppage time. Flicked on by Merson. Smith, and the referee had seen an infringement in there, and Arsenal hang their heads. Chris Turner in the Sheffield Wednesday goal, I'm sure has wondered whether today is going to be his day in terms of being a winner in the league for the first time in the first team this season. And he is. Sheffield Wednesday raised their arms aloft. Steve Bold, after 14 seconds with an own goal. Arsenal had 89 3/4 minutes to try and recover from that, but they couldn't.
And that victory lifts Wednesday to their highest position for weeks, but no room for elation. They've played more games than any other team, and next week's match is crucial. They're away to the side beneath them, Crystal Palace.
So to Division 2, Ipswich haven't won a league game in 1990, and no wonder if their marking here is anything to go by. Gordon Strachan's cross, and Lee Chapman wouldn't have had much more space in the desert. Leeds celebrated. Ipswich were as sick as, well, their scoreboard. Leeds, though, remembered only too well how the East Anglian club put them out of the FA Cup last month, and they suffered an Ipswich goal here, 3 minutes from half-time. Kiwomya exchanging passes with Walk, deflection off Strachan, and Mervyn Day cruelly beaten in his 700th first-team game. Number 5, Brian Gale, joined for congratulations on his home debut, but the former Manchester City man was out-jumped by Chapman to restore Leeds' lead from Strachan's free kick a minute later. Ipswich's second equaliser was well worked, but Howard Wilkinson won't be too impressed that no one picked up John Walk, arriving late, playing as a striker for once, and very successfully too. Finally, how's this for quick thinking? Haddock's first free kick, Linnigan fouls Chapman. And Vinnie Jones doesn't hang about. That's what's known as a quick free kick, and it almost broke the deadlock. Almost, but not quite. Ipswich 2, Leeds 2.
It's Hull City's home form that's been their downfall so far this season. Just 2 wins in 14 games at Boothbury Park. New signing Dave Bamber must wonder just what more he can do to score after efforts like this one against yesterday's opponents, Portsmouth. The hardy faithfuls, just over 4,000 yesterday, were having their patience and raincoats tested. Hesford was tested too by Fillery's shot. And then watch for a really good effort from Bamber, who takes the ball on the head, twists, turns and smacks it against the crossbar. Portsmouth's opening goal had a touch of real class about it. England's Gary Stevens, who's on loan from Spurs, traded passes with Mike Fillery, and his floated cross produces a rare-headed goal from Mark Chamberlain. At least some joy for the fans who'd made one of the day's longest journeys. Now Portsmouth's second goal, which really consigned Hull to their 7th home league defeat. Steve Wigley. Hesford's dash did nothing to help, and when the ball was cut back, Guy Whittingham just couldn't miss. 7 minutes from time, Hull raised themselves for one last assault. Bamber nudging the ball forward and Steve Terry poking it in, but it was only a consolation. Hull 1, Portsmouth 2. So the region didn't have a winner. Bradford City's plight heightened by a 2-1 defeat at the hands of Oxford. Mark Leonard scored for them late on, Oxford's winner coming just 5 minutes from time. Leeds missed the chance to go 6 points clear, but they'll be happy enough with this situation. Swindon played today at home to West Ham. The only other team in the top 10 to win were Blackburn Rovers. It's looking nasty at the bottom though. 3 of the bottom 4 are ours, and with Stoke winning yesterday, the pressure intensified. Mind you, it's so close, 2 wins would take any of those clubs almost to halfway.
Division 3, some of our greatest excitement this season has come at Millmoor, and this was no exception. 3 minutes gone, Thornber challenging Pepper, penalty. Bobby Williamson hadn't scored since New Year's Day. But that's 20 this season. Rotherham had their chance to wrap it up before half-time, which would have saved a lot of heartache later. Pepper's shot, Bracey a good save. And Buckley keeps it in play, and good skill here beats the fullback. And also good refereeing to allow play to continue. It's another fine save from Lloyd Bracey, who impressed so much against Liverpool in the FA Cup. Swansea played their part in attack too. Here's Tommy Hutchison, the league's oldest player at 42. The waistline not what it was, but he can still cross a ball. Chalmers flick, and Davey right on half-time. Into the second half, Hutchinson still weaving his magic. Chalmers unmarked, but Rotherham then regroup well. Chalmers had a block by O'Hanlon, and Johnson blocks Thornburg. Welsh spirits, though, were rising even as they fell at Twickenham. And when Hutchinson's corner is headed out by Bobby Williamson helping his defence, Paul Rayner cracks in what looks like the match winner with 18 minutes to go. A happy trip back to the Valleys in prospect. And the feeling that this possibly wouldn't be Rotherham's day increased when this fine one-touch passing move ended with Buckley's shot deflected wide by Bracey. So into the last 10 minutes. Des Hazel by now was on as substitute for Grealish. He plays it to Buckley. Slide rule ball forward for Williamson. And it's Clive Mendonca scoring a vital goal. He got 2 at Bolton last week. And he puts Rotherham level. The excitement mounted, but Rotherham, to their credit, kept playing football. Goodwin slides it forward for Buckley. And it's Pat Hurd who scored the reserves winner in midweek. Found he was playing with just an hour before the kick-off, who makes the final score Rotherham 3, Swansea 2. 3 points each then for Huddersfield and Rotherham. Defeat for Mansfield. The two Yorkshire clubs each go up a place, but Bristol Rovers will overtake them again if they beat the bottom club Walsall this afternoon. Match of the day next week, Notts County against Huddersfield. The main feature at the bottom was Preston's 6-0 defeat at Reading. They both started on 29 points, 2 behind Mansfield, so the lesson might be, don't sack your manager.
Wrexham haven't won any of their last 7 and are in danger of going out of the league. Nonetheless, Madden have the game's first chance at Chesterfield. Mick Lennon's legs crushed his hopes. John Ryan has been in outstanding form recently. The former Oldham, Sheffield Wednesday and Newcastle man was reckoned to have a great future ahead of him. And it was his dribble and deliberate cross which set up the game's first goal. Calvin Plummer just couldn't refuse that invitation. That goal coming after 18 minutes. And 10 minutes later it was to be 2-0. Big Andy Morris making tracks through the mud down the right, lifting the ball into the penalty area where it held up conveniently for Sean Dyche on loan from Nottingham Forest to score his first ever league goal. It was a red-letter day too for Jamie Hewitt, making his 150th appearance for the club, having signed a new 2-year contract with them. And he set up Morris for the next effort. Good stop this time from O'Keefe. Plummer's pace and skill always posed problems. And Colin Hoyle almost forced the ball through, as O'Keefe found the ball like a bar of soap. Chesterfield's third goal owed much to Rodgers winning the ball. That was where he did it, and again it was Plummer who goes on into the penalty area and shows great patience and finishing skill too, that with his left foot, and it's the second time in the last 3 home games that he's got 2. It also makes it 9 goals in 3 successive games at Saltergate, and it was almost 10. Hewitt into the penalty area, and this time O'Keefe manages to deflect the ball wide. A good result for Paul Hart's side, though. The result went with the form buck Chesterfield 3, Wrexham 0. And it was a good day all round. Grimsby and Halifax both scored 4, and Lincoln, whose next game at Sincilbank is tomorrow night against Moscow Torpedo, torpedoed Colchester. Scarborough drew with Torquay, and we didn't have a single loser. It's been a bit of a shuffle at the top, so Lincoln are now our best placed side. Chesterfield tucked in behind them, York are 8th, and even Grimsby in 10th are only 6 points behind the top 4 with a game in hand. Scunthorpe, who've had 4 goalless draws on the trot, and even Halifax down in 18th place, have aspirations of moving up. Scarborough, the lowest placed of our clubs, at 12 points clear of the bottom.
And that's it. Half-time report on Sheffield United against Barnsley in the FA Cup from Calendar after the break. And we'll be here next Sunday to see what Vinny does next. Goodbye.
We bring you Saturday's goals on